hi again. I changed my mind. Redoing it's too much work, so I'm gonna post that as the first half, and this is the second half. So Lyme treatment. The reason it's difficult to treat is that the Lyme bacteria is a corkscrew shape, and it does what corkscrews do. It burrows. So it doesn't stay in your bloodstream exclusively. If it did, it would be the easiest thing in the world to treat, and 30 days of doxy would take care of it. But it burrows. It gets into your tissues. And one of the first places it likes to go is your joints. It likes connective tissue. It likes soft tissue. It likes joints and cartilage. And it especially likes tissue that has previous damage. It absolutely loves scar tissue. So when you have Lyme, pretty soon you start getting problems with your joints, especially your knees. Knee pain is one of the hallmarks of Lyme. But you also start getting just more problems at any old injury site. And the reason for that is that Lyme likes to get in there and set up camp. It just, for whatever reason, it thinks these are great places to make its home. And so that's what it does. It kind of uses those places as beginnings of colonies or whatever. Don't quote me medically, because I'm sure there are way better ways to say this, and I can't really cite sources because most of what I've learned is things that I've gathered from, this internet article over here, this article over here, this study here, that study over there, and then everything everybody says in the support groups. So I don't have any one place that I can point you to and say, this is where I learned this. I learned it all over and just kind of put it together. And yeah, anyway. So once Lyme leaves your bloodstream and starts getting into these other systems, you need different forms of antibiotics to reach those different places. And then on top of that, you run into the problem that Lyme is not a passive little bugger. It likes to mutate. Not exactly mutate. It likes to, I'm sorry, my brain is having a hard time this week. This probably looks just as painful as it feels. It adapts, and it learns to defend itself against most things you throw at it. And the way it defends itself is it takes this protein in your blood called fibrin. It's the same protein that your body uses for scar tissue. It takes that protein and it just kind of builds these little forts, cysts and biofilms. It builds those and hides in those. And while it's in there, it can't be touched by antibiotics. So it senses a threat, it hides, and then because it's hiding, your symptoms are gone and you think, oh, I'm all better. You stop taking whatever you're taking and it goes, oh, coast is clear. Let's go. And then you're just worse off than you were before. So not only do you have to, Chester, will you stop that, please? Not only do you have to get the cat out of the closet, not only do you have to treat with antibiotics that can go multiple different places, especially later on when it gets to the point where it's reached your nervous system. That's the hardest to treat, and that's how far it's gone for me. not many things will cross from your bloodstream into your nervous system. So you have to use special things to treat that, but then you need antibiotics that will treat along as many different pathways as possible. And you need also you need things that will break open the cysts it hides in and dissolve the biofilm so that it can actually get at them. So that with that, you're up to probably 5 different things that you're taking minimum just for a basic sort of coverage. Then on top of that, you have to take care of your immune system, and you have to detox, especially if you're treating herbally, which I'm doing because I can't afford multiple antibiotics that insurance won't cover. I can't afford to travel to find a doctor who would do that. There are doctors who do that, but they're all swamped with patients, and they're all very expensive because they can't take insurance for what they do, and they would lose their licenses if they publicly advertised what they did. So, the only thing that's really affordable and possible for me is self-treatment with herbal things. So I've been researching herbal antibiotics and herbal things that dissolve biofilms and break open cysts, and that's the other thing with Lyme is it causes massive toxic overload in your system. And that's one of the reasons that people tend to feel so awful, especially in indefinable ways, is the bacteria release just tons of toxins into your system all the time. And that all starts to compromise pretty much everything, but especially your liver, because it's too much. It can't cope with it. And when you start killing the bacteria, they release even more toxins as they die. So when you start treating, you feel worse. And because of that, one of the cornerstones of any good Lyme treatment is massive detox. I mean, you have to detox like it's your job. Because otherwise, not only will you feel terrible, but you could actually kill yourself with toxic overload. So that's a very important part of Lyme treatment as well. And that's one reason you have to go slow, so you don't overload your body. You have to stay within limits it can handle, which is one reason it takes so darn long. If you could just zap it and be done with it, that would be fantastic, but you can't. And there was something else too. Oh, immune system. If you're treating herbally, you want your immune system to start working again, because Lyme suppresses your immune system. It tends to it either makes it go haywire or it makes it stop working entirely. Sometimes both. So at the same time that you're fighting all these things and detoxing like your life depends on it, because it does, you're having to do what you can to build up your immune system as well. And wow, I've talked 10 minutes about that, and I really hope that this is somewhat understandable, because I really can't go do it all again. And this is kind of abrupt to just kind of ramble on and then stop, but I'm running out of time, and I guess that's it for this week, guys. So thanks for watching if you've borne with me this far, and I love you, and I'll try to see you next week. Bye.